Hi, welcome to The Truth of Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal, this is Isaac, and this is our last episode of 2020. And as we all know, 2020 can suck it. So tonight's episode, here's our agenda: best sports moments of the last decade, questions for 2021, what we're looking forward to most. And the third one is a little bit outside our normal scope of operations. We're going to talk about greatest sports movies. Off the top, a couple of things. Spencer Dinwiddie, big injury. This is going to open up some trade opportunities. And D. Rose, although we love Derrick Rose, it's probably time to go. Be lovely to get a first-round draft pick. A couple of other NBA overreactions. Jokic, Trae Young, are they seriously MVP candidates? They might be.
I think Jokic is. I don't know we didn't talk about him, but I think Jokic could, if the Nuggets are the 2 seed, he's got a good shot at it. But they need to be a 2 or a 3 seed.
Okay. Just jump into March real quick. We have been very successful with our March sales. We've got a couple of crew necks left, and we've got a number of other items that are on order. Check out our Instagram, The Truth with T&I, for more information. And you can obviously DM Isaac, The Truth with T&I. Follow us on Instagram. Question for the audience. Movies. We are looking at 3 different things for movie options. For our next episode, do we do a bracket, like an NCAA bracket, where we just break it down and we ask our viewers for feedback on, Godfather versus Space Jam 1 versus 16 matchup? Do we do a 1 to 10 rank? Just Isaac and I each rank our top 10s, and we just compare and then ask for feedback on whose 10 is better. Mine is always better.
That's not the truth.
Yep, truth is I'm smarter. Number 3, do we build a team, just kind of do a draft, right? Like Don Corleone from The Godfather. For sure, he'd be a first-round draft pick. You just see him as a small forward in his prime. Tough, can shoot, great defender, that kind of stuff. So bracket, 1 to 10, or build a team. Let's jump into last decade. Isaac.
I got a couple things I want to talk about before we go into it. Padres switched baseball real quick, made a couple big trades. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, a couple of elite pitchers. Now, the Dodgers are going to be the heavy favorites again, but the Padres actually got booted by the Dodgers last year in the divisional series. If the Padres are the 2 seed, then we might have a championship series, an AL or an NLCS of Padres-Dodgers, which would be a ton of fun. They're a good young team, but can they take down the Dodgers? Probably not. Can anybody?
The series, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So a couple big moves. They're going all in, which is fun to watch. And then James Harden, we have no idea what's going on. It's a mess in Houston. He's a bum.
I think his trade value is dropping, but realistically, if you're not the Lakers and probably the Clippers, everybody else is looking up at those two. There's probably 8 or 9 teams that if they add Harden, and you talk about Milwaukee and Brooklyn and Denver and Miami, that vaults them right into that conversation. So there's lots of people looking up saying, man, Harden's a pain in the butt, but he could bring us to the top.
He can ball, and I'm a Heat homer, but I wouldn't hate if Harden actually got traded to Miami. They've got the depth, and there's a couple teams that I think can make a good run at him and can throw together a good package, but it's, what is Houston going to want to do? And are they going to give in, or how's that going to go? Because Drew Holiday got traded for, a ton of picks and a couple good players. So I don't know what Houston's asking. Seems like a lot, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, the Raptors didn't have to give a lot to get Kawhi, right? They gave up DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Potball or something along those lines. And
Jakob Poeltl?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And then a late first-round draft pick. I don't know, they were 28th or 29th. Mm-hmm. So really, the Raptors did not give away much to buy themselves a championship.
All right, best sports moments of the decade. So we'll kick things off with 2011. We're going to switch through a bunch of sports, 4 majors. I think we might go outside the 4 majors a bit.
Sure, mix in a bit of college.
But 2011, Dirk Nowitzki and a bunch of vets and role players upset Miami's super team in their first year. Obviously, I wasn't watching a lot of ball then. I was 8. But, big moment for Dallas, for Dirk, even for LeBron, his legacy.
Look up those lineups and compare them. And then you have no idea how the Mavs won. But
yeah, no idea.
Nowitzki was on fire. It's a good one. The Auburn kick six return versus Alabama. I mean, Alabama is a machine. Like, they just have 5-star after 5-star after 5-star guys. And they don't lose a lot. But I think it was 2016. Am I right? No, it was a long time. It was 2013. Chris Davis breaking. Alabama went for a long kick. And here's the thing. Nick Saban, great coach, but too overconfident, right? Like, probably not the smart play, right? Your kick team is not known for having fast guys. They've got fat guys. So once they had that ball and they're bringing it out of the end zone, Alabama was in a lot of trouble.
As soon as he broke through the first stretch there, he was gone with blockers in front. Another one, back to the NBA. One of the best moments in maybe, for sure, basketball history, maybe sports history. Ray Allen, corner three against the Spurs to win Game 6, force a Game 7, and get that super team a ring. Look, people don't talk about this a lot, but Tim Duncan, if he won that series, I believe he would have been 6-0 in the finals.
Wow.
And that probably would have solidified top 5 all time.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be 4 or 5.
Oh, for sure. And I remember people talking about, it was lucky shot. And then people who played with Ray Allen said, no way. He practiced that shot hundreds of times every single day. So it was not unheard of for him to catch that ball with just enough room to catch, set his feet, go up and hit the three. It was awesome.
Yeah. One of probably the best, I don't know, catch and shoot shooter of all time. Like, Steph Curry's the best shooter of all time, but he's not a big catch and shoot shooter. But catch and shoot on the perimeter, like Ray Allen's your guy, Klay Thompson up there too. So, big moment there.
Yep. So memes are obviously really popular, but the OBJ catch versus the Cowboys, that like started the meme war for sure.
No, it's not a thing, but okay.
It's a thing. I just decreed it. It's a thing. It was an amazing catch. And listen, OBJ, again, he's a pain in the butt, super talented. And what has happened, that has spurred a generation of receivers that are, one, a pain in the ass, and two, they practice all those crazy catches. So now you see one-handed catches, even by DBs. Happens all the time. That was amazing. Yeah,
I was watching the game, and it was like a meaningless Sunday Night Football game against the Cowboys. Like, it was Cowboys-Giants. There's a lot of primetime games with those two teams, which I don't really get, especially Dallas.
Dallas is America's team.
Even though nobody likes them. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. I had him on my fantasy team at the time and picked him up with waivers and, like, thought it was sweet. And in terms of, like, actual talent, like skill, one of the hardest catches ever. You don't want to say one of the greatest or one of the best because obviously, you know, like
Dwight Clark catch was a pretty
back
big deal.
In the end zone.
Yeah, immaculate reception, Franco Harris.
David Tyree on the helmet.
Yeah.
Had a bigger impact than this meaningless Sunday night game, but kind of launched OBJ to stardom.
Yep.
What do you got?
No, actually, I had OBJ. You took my Thunder.
I'll go with the jersey hanging behind me, Derek Jeter.
Captain.
He's behind us for a reason. We haven't really talked about this. All the jerseys behind us are relevant to the episode. We try to switch them up, so the name's up there. And Superman's not relevant to the episode pretty much ever. But
Superman's relevant to every episode.
Yeah, but the 4 jerseys we've got up, we'll talk about. And Jeter, walk-off
and
single.
Thanks to Isaac's boys for giving us the jerseys, because we've got a few of them, but a lot of them comes from Isaac's team.
Jackson and Evan up there. Dale was pitched in. Jair's pitched in. A bunch of the guys. So Jeter's walk-off RBI single last game at Fenway, closed off his career. It was pretty sweet. And, you know, the Yankees are, I don't want to say universally hated, but a lot of people don't like the Yankees. But Jeter, pretty much everybody loves Jeter.
Yeah, he's an amazing captain, and it's a great way for him to typify his career. The Russell Wilson goal line interception versus the Pats. Hand the ball to Lynch, right? Don't overthink. Again, that's another Pete Carroll just being too smart. I'm not sure if it was Pete Carroll's call. It's probably the offensive coordinator's call, but just hand the ball to Lynch. They weren't stopping him. Runs in the end zone, you win into the Super Bowl. Butler, right, is
Malcolm Butler, not
Malcolm
Jimmy.
Butler, yep, not Jimmy. It was a big INT, and that really, helped solidify a tremendous, the best dynasty for the last 20 years for sure.
Yeah. Another one in terms of dynasty, KD signing in Golden State in the summer of 2016, like, just shocked the world. I think it came out on I feel like it was a morning. Like, it just came out in some random magazine on a morning, and it was crazy. Yeah. launched or continued the Warriors dynasty.
Well, the Warriors had beaten KD and the Thunder like 6 weeks previously.
Yeah.
So it was
not a good look.
Again, that stuff, like imagine that happening with the Bad Boys and the Celtics. I mean, they hated each other.
Larry and Magic, like if they played in 2020, they'd probably end up teaming up.
Oh.
Right?
That's terrible. Like Magic and Isaiah, like they would kiss and say hello, and then they would beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
I don't think they made up until recently. They had some show. Yeah. That's how much sports has changed. Now they're all buddies. Oh, hey, buddy. No, you're supposed to hate the guy.
There's not a lot of guys that have the killer mentality. And Kobe was, teamed up with a couple big guys, but didn't team up with Paul Pierce. Hated Paul Pierce.
Although Paul Pierce is the truth, and we'll have Paul Pierce on this episode one day. The truth.
You're up. What do you got?
I'm up. Chicago Cubs, the team that everybody loves, broke a 108-year curse by beating Cleveland in 2016. We've been to a lot of cool sporting events and lots of cool stadiums, but he has not been to Wrigley. So one of our 2021 questions is, when can we go to a game? Hopefully we'll be able to go see the Cubbies play. That was a big deal when the Cubbies broke 108-year streak.
Yeah, historic franchises. Talking about the Lakers, Kobe Bryant going for 60 in his final game against Utah. Again, meaningless game, meant nothing, but everybody was watching. And even before he passed away, they still played it on TV a lot.
Yeah,
it was on TV all the time. It was.
And he didn't start off well. Like the first few minutes, he was throwing
Fourth
up
quarter
bricks.
was
he was on fire, just crazy.
So Kobe, had to talk about him, and you were never a big Kobe guy.
I thought he was kind of overrated.
And the Kobe that I kind of grew up with was with 8 ice packs, taped to his legs and arms, he was just kind of old and injured. But that Kobe in 2016 against Utah in his final game was a pretty good Kobe. Yeah,
listen, I mean Kobe, top 10 player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
My impression of Kobe is when he helped give the Pistons a championship because he was so selfish. Just feed the ball to Shaq because nobody was able to guard Shaq, but Kobe just wanted to be the superstar. So
that's an unpopular opinion.
What's that?
Especially now, it's an unpopular opinion.
No, but it's the truth.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I'm up. Villanova buzzer beater. Chris Jenkins to beat North Carolina 2016?
Yeah,
2016. That was big. NCAA tournament is probably the best sporting event on an annual basis.
Super Bowl's pretty good.
Super Bowl's a singular event, right? The NCAA tournament, a ton of games. Everybody and their mother's got a bracket. Even people that have no idea what they're doing fill out a bracket. It's a lot of fun. So there's lots of good memories from the NCAA tournament on an annual basis. But the buzzer beater by Jenkins, that was big.
That was sweet. Really good game too against North Carolina. Another one. We've got LeBron hanging behind me. I'm not a huge LeBron guy, but I respect him. His ring in 2016 brought a chip to Cleveland. Was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I didn't want it to happen, but It was cool. Good for him. I like K-Love too. We don't really like Kyrie. But Kevin Love, that team was fun to watch. That team was fun to watch, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of comparisons between Cleveland and Detroit. Both,
sucking.
Have had some spotty sports history. They're both kind of in the Rust Belt. Have had some good times and some bad times. So it was a cool thing for Cleveland. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
What am I up? Oh, the comeback. So we went to Boston, I guess, last October. And that'll be another topic, road trips, because the Boston road trip was an epic road trip. But they've just got 28-3 all over the place in Boston. That was an amazing comeback. It was a lot of fun to watch. And, talk about cementing a dominant franchise. For sure that did it. That was cool.
That was a great Super Bowl.
Yep.
Sucks. Well, not a great Super Bowl if you're a Falcons fan.
No.
But, and Julio made one sweet catch down the sideline. Didn't matter, but that catch was sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet.
But yeah, one of the best comebacks in sports history. One of the worst collapses in sports history for the Falcons that game.
Yep.
Another one. UMBC upsetting Virginia in the first round of March Madness in 2018.
I don't even know who UMBC is.
That's the B team. the 16 seed that upset Virginia.
I know, but what school is it?
UMBC? I don't know. I think they had B's. People haven't talked about them since. People haven't talked about them or didn't talk about them before. Probably won't talk about them again. But
you know, we should go to the producer to find out who UMBC is. Who's the producer? We don't have one?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll have to be next episode.
And, so UMBC, big upset, won by like 20. And I remember people kept saying, like, during the game, Virginia's going to come back. Virginia's going to come back. Got to like 15, but like the lead just kept growing. And I think it was around a 20-point game. And Virginia was my team to win it all. And a lot of my brackets, so that's good. So, yeah, big. The only time it's ever happened. Yeah.
Minneapolis Miracle, where, they're down, 5 points, and they got 50 yards to go. And Breeze just heaves it, and I don't remember who the DB was, but just tackle the dude. But no, he went for the superstar play, missed him, boom. New Orleans goes in for a touchdown. That's why...
Minnesota goes in for touchdowns.
Minnesota goes in for the touchdown.
Stephon Diggs.
My bad. Yeah. Was it Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
Okay. His recall's better than mine. Anyway, New Orleans is karma owes them a couple, right? That missed call on the pass interference and that play. New Orleans is owed something. Maybe it'll happen this year.
I think the Packers might beat him now, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Philly special, another Super Bowl moment involving Tom Brady. This time wasn't a good one. Again, really great game, high-scoring game, a lot of fun. And Nick Foles led the Eagles to the Super Bowl to beat Tom Brady. Like, it's crazy, a career backup who's now backing up Mitch Trubisky.
So that's how bad Nick Foles is, because Trubisky is terrible. And he's starting ahead of Nick Foles. So,
like, great game, but the Philly special, that moment, that trick play, and even listening to the auto clip after, like, when he went over to, I think, Doug Peterson and asked if he could do it. Like, just sweet moment, no hesitation. Nick Foles, best backup of all time.
That's a separate topic. Ovechkin and the Caps beat the Knights in 2018. Good story on both angles, right? How did the Knights make it to the Stanley Cup Finals? Who knows, right? They put it together, a bit of luck. They got hot at the right time. And Ovechkin. Ovechkin, throughout his career, kind of known as a bit of a selfish player. And I think he has grown personally, but also I think people just became more aware of the fact that he really is a winner. And good for Ov to win the Cup. Second best goal scorer of all time, Ovechkin. Don't even tell me he's in the same league as Gretzky. Gretzky's in a different league.
Another, historic moment. Raptors bringing a chip to Toronto, Canada, and Kawhi Leonard's just crazy playoff run. That year is probably the best player in basketball. That playoff season,
yep, for sure.
What he did,
he was amazing.
Just carried that team. Couldn't do it last year with Paul George, but it's besides the point. Did it with Toronto, and we like Golden State. I like watching them play, but everybody was going for Toronto. At least everybody in
the entire country was cheering for him.
And that's people don't like the Warriors because KD, right?
Yep.
So seeing Kawhi bring a chip home was sweet, and that one corner buzzer beater, baseline J.
Yeah, that was cool
against Philly and Jimmy, who played his heart out. Actually, Jimmy had a really good game.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Klay Thompson in that series against the Raps, right? Torn ACL, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Like a lot of pain.
Achilles or something.
He's being helped off the court, and then he thought that he was going to come back. What happens is when you get taken off the court, you have to come back and shoot your free throws, or you're not allowed to return to the game.
Yeah.
So he limped back on, hit both free throws, and went back on D. Wanted to keep playing. He had no knee. He made both free throws and limped back to play D. Props to Klay Thompson. One of the most popular players in basketball.
Yeah, Kobe did it, and then when Klay did it, if you go after the show, don't do it during. After the show, there's if you watch the clip, Klay Thompson returning his game, he's kind of walking to the locker room through the tunnel, and he just looks pissed off, and then he kind of hears something, and then he's with a few guys, and he just puts on this crazy look, walks on the court, everyone's just kind of going nuts. The Golden State guys are just trying to pat him on the back, and he goes and drains both free throws, chills. Really good moment.
Yeah, it's cool.
By one of the most beloved players in basketball.
Yep. Okay, wrapping up, what do you got?
We'll go with the bubble. That was sweet, right?
Bubble's awesome.
Another LeBron one.
We had nothing to do, so the bubble gave us sports, right? And sports safety, right? The NHL and the NBA did a really nice job with their bubbles, and the NBA bubble was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Lakers getting a ring, and a great final series. Really was.
Yep.
Especially games 3 and 5, where Jimmy Butler literally, I'm not just saying this, had 2 of the best, most heroic championship performances for sure in basketball history. For sure.
Okay, I agree with you.
35-plus point triple-doubles, going head-to-head with LeBron, just crazy, fun games to watch, good bubble, a lot of interesting storylines that came out of that, and we won't forget it.
So, a lot of good sports moments from the last decade. Thanks for allowing us to enjoy you. Sports, you're fun to watch. Okay, 2021 questions. Let's just go back and forth. We don't need to go into a lot of detail. Mm-hmm. You go first.
NFL. Can anyone beat the Chiefs?
Okay, well, that's my second question. The answer is no. Here's my first question. Can anybody beat the Lakers? Actually, here's my question for you, Isaac. If you had the choice of the Lakers or the field, who do you pick?
Lakeshore by a mile. By a mile.
Even though the Lakers are far and away the favorite, I'm picking the field. So
I'd have to look at odds, but
No, you picked the Lakers.
I would go, I would just off the top of my head, if I had to put some money down, I think the Lakers are barring an injury.
Yep.
Barring an injury or James Harden going to the Clippers or something. It's got to be the Lakers. Let's roll NBA for a bit and then we'll go NFL.
Okay.
So Lakers, we think, will the Mavs be good enough to let Luka be the MVP? I thought yes. They don't look that great.
No. Without
Porzingis.
Without Porzingis, they don't have a lot. Is Jokic a superstar? Is he talked about in the LeBron, Giannis, KD kind of category?
I think yes. I think you have to say yes, right?
He's awesome.
A good chance the Nuggets are the 2 or the 3 seed. And he's just, he's looked so good this year. He just looked like what he did in the bubble. And it's the regular season, so AD isn't guarding him, right? Just triple-doubles like crazy and super fun to watch. So I'll say yes.
Okay.
Voter fatigue for Giannis. Back-to-back MVPs. He's going to have another great regular season. Can he win it for a third straight time? I say no. As in, he won't win it. As in, voter fatigue will get the best of him. Dad?
Initially, I said he would win, but a couple things. One, I agree with you on the voter fatigue. I think you're right there. And also, I think the league has figured out how to slow Giannis down, right? You see more teams handling him with the kind of the wall mentality and putting him in tough spots.
Yeah.
Now, he's surrounded himself with some good shooters. So I think the Bucks should be okay, but I think Giannis takes a bit of a step back this year, sorry.
Last thing for the NBA. Worst supporting cast, Mavs or Warriors? So Steph Curry, Luka, who has the worst cast?
Is Porzingis healthy?
Yeah.
If Porzingis is healthy, then the worst is the Warriors. They're awful.
I agree.
Oubre and Wiggins, I'm relatively certain I can beat them both in a game of horse. They're terrible. Shoot the ball.
No, don't shoot the ball, especially for Kelly Oubre.
No,
it's 1 for 18.
Maybe practice shooting Jace, right? You're playing with Steph Curry, you're going to get lots of shots. They're awful.
Yeah, I agree. Worst supporting cast, especially with Dre. If Dre's back, I still probably think it's the Warriors. We don't really know what Dre will get this year. Are we going to get kicking people in the nuts Dre? Are we going to get triple-double with steals and blocks Dre? Who knows? But I think with Porzingis healthy, it's got to be the Warriors. NFL, do you have a couple for NFL?
I do. Jefferson or Hebert for Rookie of the Year. What do you got?
Well, definitely not Hebert because that person doesn't exist. Herbert. Yeah.
Same difference.
Look, Jefferson, I think earned it. I think he deserves it.
QB.
But it's a QB's award. I just think the league gives it to the next great young quarterback or one of the next, him, Burrow, and Tua and all those guys. But I think Jefferson deserves it.
So I know you don't like him, but can anybody beat Rodgers for MVP?
Last week did not look good for me. I don't know. I know Mahomes is sitting this week because he doesn't care about the MVP. He just wants to win.
But Rogers cares. He's going to get stats.
I don't know if Rogers is going to play. If he plays, I think they play Chicago, and their defense is pretty good, but he'll just pick them apart. So if he plays and goes nuts again, it's going to be Rogers.
Okay.
Last one. With Lawrence going to Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville first overall, what did the Jets do, picking at second likely?
I think you got to trade down, right? Fields is going to get a lot of attention. Zach Wilson, the other guy, Trask, who got his butt kicked last night. Actually, just on the way here, we were listening to, there's a rumor about there was a group text, and Trask was on the group text, and a bunch of them decided they're not going to play. Trask was not supposed to play, but decided either didn't see the group text or decided he's going to play anyways. It probably cost him millions of dollars. So anyway, to answer your question, I think the Jets keep Darnold but trade back.
I don't see Darnold staying, but we'll talk more about that later. I think Darnold goes to like the Colts or the Patriots or something like that. Maybe the Steelers. We'll talk about that later though. Okay, the one that we have zero idea what the other has. Top 10 sports movies. Now, before we
Let me just jump in a couple more questions for 2021.
Sure.
When can we go to a game? I miss going to games. Like 6:30 at night, we'd be finishing up dinner. We're like, hey, you want to go to the Tiger game? Sure. So no tickets, no idea. We just go. And again, Tigers are one of the nice things about every Detroit sports team rebuilding. There's a lot of tickets floating around.
Cheap tickets.
Cheap tickets. So we went to a lot of games and paid like $10 or less, or sometimes $0. You're walking in and people are like, oh, there's a dad and a son. Hey, you need some tickets. Several times that happened to us.
You know what that's called?
The Force.
The Force. High midichlorians count.
High midichlorian. Oh, yeah. M count is super high.
M count, yeah.
Yeah. I miss going to games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll skip that stuff.
Sports movies.
Sports movies.
So before we get into it, no Rocky and Creed movies. Hear us out. There's 8 Rocky/Creed movies. 7 of the 8 would be in my top 10. 6 of the 8 would be in his top 10.
Probably.
So we're going to eliminate them. That's a conversation for another day. Fight Club, not like we went not a sports movie, but it would be really high if it was sport for both of us.
Yep.
Power of One. Not a lot of people know Power of One. Kind of a boxing movie, but not really. So we said no. And then lastly, Big Lebowski. If you look it up, some people say it's a sports movie. There's a chunk of bowling in it, but we say no.
No.
So we each have a top 10 and a bunch of honorable mentions. So we'll go from 10 to 1. We'll each say our 10.
10 to 1?
No, so like 10, 10, 9, 9. And then we make our way to 1. Okay?
Got it. Okay. Honorable mention we'll do after? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10, I've got Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Great movie. It's a classic baseball sports movie.
It's on a lot.
Yeah. What do you got for 10?
Man, Darth Vader's in that movie.
He is.
Darth Vader's in the movie.
James Earl Jones.
So my 10, there's like literally 6 that I think could go here. But I went with Coach Carter, with Samuel Jackson. Like my generation loves Coach Carter. I think it's really, really good. It's not better than some of the other movies. But again, ton of movies that could go in here. But it's on Netflix. It's been on Netflix for a long time.
I've never seen Coach Carter.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Let's watch it this weekend.
Okay, so I'll go 10, Coach Carter.
Number 9, Enter the Dragon. Again, it's a really little bit more my generation than Isaac's, but it was awesome. Like he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was a great, great movie. And Bruce Lee, I wish he lived for longer because he was amazing.
Bit of a different tone for my 9, The Water Boy. It's a sports movie for sure. One of the funniest movies ever.
Yep. I've got him in my honorable mentions.
Oh, so I thought you would have it in like top 5. I thought you were hotter on me.
Love The Water Boy, but
it's in terms of like sports comedies, definitely up there. So I went The Water
Boy.
Better
than Joe Montana.
Adam Sandler from like 99, 98. If you haven't seen it, it's really funny.
Water Boy's good.
Yep.
Number 8, I've got Miracle with Kurt Russell.
Interesting pick.
It's a great movie. It's
for American.
But it is one of. Here's the thing that I don't know if I like best about sports. One of the things that I most like about sports is the whole upset factor. I mean, the Russians were unbelievable. And for the fact that a bunch of college kids beat the Russians is amazing. Now, almost every movie after that, like based on that, is going to be good. And I think Miracle was awesome.
Miracle's good. I actually don't have it as an honorable mention, but it totally could be. It's a really good movie. And the speech that he gives in the locker room, just one of the best sports movie moments.
Yep.
My 8. I don't think you'll have this one because you sleep on it. Space Jam. Space Jam is a classic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Space Jam
I've got an honorable mention.
Fantastic. Yeah. Like, you can put that on right now, and old people can be entertained because, old, but, Mike and Bill Murray and guys that he knows more than I'm supposed to know.
Yep.
But then you could put it in front of, like, little kids and, like...
No, but didn't you watch it with your cousins?
With younger cousins, and they loved it, right?
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny and all the funny stuff, and it's a really, really good movie. Space Jam 2, we'll probably end up talking about that, but I'm not really... Sorry, LeBron. Sorry, Evan. I'm not looking forward to it. So, First one, classic.
Okay, number 7, I've got The Natural. Again, another really good baseball movie. Lots of fun to watch. Number 7, solid pick.
It's an honorable mention. So I don't have it in my top 7 now, but it's really, really good from, I don't know, 84, like really solid movie.
Yep.
My 7, I wanted to put it higher, but I couldn't. It's Hoosiers. Now, I think he's going to have it really high.
Come on.
That hat, I got him. I think it's a pretty sweet hat. But Hoosiers is a classic. Yeah, the podcast, the people listening right now have no idea. He's wearing a Hoosiers hat. He's shoving it in the camera right now.
Yep.
So, Hoosiers, great movie. Like, a lot of good moments.
So there's 6 sports movies better than Hoosiers?
Yeah.
No way. Number 6, probably one of yours, Sandlot. You're killing me, Smalls.
Wow. I have an honorable mention. Honorable mention. I don't have a top 5.
Sandlot was awesome. I think they did Sandlot 2, but...
I think they might have done a couple, yeah.
Yeah, but that was crap. But Sandlot was it was fun, and it was good, and it was wholesome, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. My 6, I don't know if you'll have in top 10. I introduced him to it not too long ago.
Oh,
Warrior.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know it.
It's so awesome. It's awesome. I've got an honorable mention.
So it's
many people haven't seen it.
2011, it was Tom Hardy right before he did Bane.
Yep.
And right after Inception. I think in that he did Warrior. It's an MMA movie with him and Nick Nolte and Joel Edgerton maybe. It's sick. It's an MMA movie. There's a lot of fighting.
It's a good fight movie.
But it's kind of got shades of Here Comes the Boom in a few senses. And then Tom Hardy basically plays Bane. He's just super hardcore. Don't want to give anything away.
He's a beast.
But if you haven't seen Warrior,
just watch it.
You should really watch Warrior.
I'm going to watch Coach Carter. You're going to watch Warrior.
Cool. That's my 6. What do you got?
5, I've got Caddyshack. That's certainly not in your element.
Okay. Well, you'll see my top few and then rethink that. But
Caddyshack is a great movie. I worked in the golf business for a long time, and I still like golf. It's funny. It's good. And a lot of it was. Look up some of the filming of Caddyshack. There was a lot of goofy stuff that happened during that filming, and you'll like it even more.
My 5. I thought you would mention it by now. Maybe you have it really high. So keep in mind, we have no idea each other's list, right?
No,
so
we kept this one private.
So we have no idea. My 5 is White Men Can't Jump. I love White Men Can't Jump.
Honorable mention. I loved
movie.
it. I had such a hard time putting this list together. It was on my list for a long time. Took me a long time.
Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Sweet movie, super funny, good
Billy
basketball.
Hoy.
Billy Ho.
Billy Ho.
A lot of good jokes, some racist jokes, but
a lot of great trash talk.
A lot of your mom jokes. Of great sweet movie.
Trash talk.
A lot of basketball, some real emotion stuff.
Culturally, probably ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
From early 90s.
Listen, you talking about it, I probably should have found a spot in the
I thought you
10.
would have it.
Yep.
So that's my 5, and I wanted to put it higher, but my top 4 are pretty good. What do you got?
So number 4, I've got Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. I've got Karate Kid down as number 4. That's a great movie. Lots of fun. I can tell you, the Chudner family is so looking forward to Cobra Kai coming out tomorrow. I don't know, 30 years later or whatever. Cobra Kai is still... Karate Kid is still setting up Cobra Kai because Karate Kid is so good.
So, no comment on Karate Kid. I'll talk about it later. My 4, I think it's going to be really high for him, is Rudy. Rudy is a classic. I don't know. A few days ago at dinner, we were like after dinner, we were finishing up, and he's on his phone watching the speech that the field caretaker guy.
You're 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing, without the speck of athletic ability, and you hung with the greatest sports team in the land for 2 years.
Yeah. So Rudy is awesome.
Yeah,
like
Rudy's
really
awesome.
Good movie.
I probably only cried at the end for about the first 40 times I watched the end.
A few years ago. So yeah. Rudy's one I was like, he showed me when I was really young. So I remember watching Rudy, early 90s again. Really, really good sports movie. It's my 4. I wanted it higher, but I couldn't.
Yeah. Remember the Titans, which I'm sure you've got really high. It's an amazing movie. Again, culturally ahead of its time. If you haven't seen Remember the Titans, Denzel is the head coach and gets plopped into just a bunch of racist hicks, and he's got to coach the team, and it's a great example of bringing a bunch of boys together through the love and the competition of sports.
Now, we didn't plan. My 3 is actually Remember the Titans. I have it at 3. Now, so my top 3, I think, are all near perfect. I want to just put that, like, I think, no, seriously, I think for me, I don't pick a lot of flaws in those. I had to put it at 3. Jackson, who, the Kobe jersey behind me is his, I think Remember the Titans might be his number 1 movie of all time. It was for a long time. I think it still might be.
It's a great
like
movie.
What he said, sweet movie. I think it's actually on Disney+. So people who have Disney+, if you haven't seen Remember Titans or haven't seen it for a few years,
it's a good watch again.
Go watch Remember
watch
Titans. So there's my 3. What do you got? What's your 2?
Number 2, I've got Hoosiers. Right, that was a great movie. You know, put the balls away. Gene Hackman.
Okay.
It's a spectacular movie. I absolutely loved it. And again, the best thing about sports is upsets. And this, like,
We've heard that one.
School in the middle of nowhere with like 27 students beats these big teams from Chicago or Indiana. That was Indiana. Yeah, it was Indiana. Yeah, Indiana Hoosiers. So Indianapolis is where they played the finals. Just watch Hoosiers again. Number 2 on my list. You know who number 1 is, so I don't know.
So I'll go my 2. You don't even have it in your top 10, which is ridiculous. It's one of the best movies of the past, I think it was 2011, so past decade, is Moneyball with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. It's definitely a sports movie. There's no debating that, but it's so much more. It's a economics movie, it's a business movie. Like, it's just got, it's pretty deep and gives you a lot. Like, you get a lot out of it.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, listen, I really enjoyed Moneyball, and I had it written down, but I took it off. The thing about Moneyball is it's got a whole bunch of good scenes, but there's not like 1 or 2 that you remember. And that you
the home run to keep the streak alive by Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, right? the catcher turned first baseman,
Przinski or
something
like that.
Yeah. That home run. Yeah, I agree. There's not a Rudy speech, and there's not a Remember the Titans.
We're going to post our top 10 online, and everybody's going to vote for me again because pretty much I win all the competitions.
You know what's my boys messing with you? You need to understand that.
No, they respect me because of my vast sports knowledge and my passionate opinions. So, number 1, Rudy. I don't like Notre Dame, but it's such a good movie with so many great moments, and obviously the underdog theme is pretty relevant in a lot of my top 10s. Rudy's awesome. What did you have Rudy as 3?
I had Rudy as 4.
4? Okay.
So I had Rudy, Remember the Titans, Moneyball, and he mentioned it earlier. This was my 1 by a fair margin. It's The Karate Kid. One of my favorite movies ever, like probably top 5, top 10. Karate Kid is awesome. Daniel Russo, one of the best, for sure, 80s characters ever. And Johnny Lawrence, you get Kreese. Like, there's so much on Miyagi. Miyagi's Yoda.
Pat Morito's awesome. Miyagi's Yoda.
/ Obi-Wan. Like, he's that character. And I think they took some inspiration from Empire Strikes Back, which came out a few years earlier. But Karate Kid was directed by the director of Rocky. A lot of people don't know that.
I do not know that.
So if you watch either of them and have the other in mind, there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, I can see that.
A lot of parallels. So
good comment. I still think Rudy's better.
Yeah, like Rudy's great. Like it's not saying like LeBron's better than Mike. Like that makes zero sense saying that. We're saying Rudy is better than Karate Kid. There's some validity to that, I think.
Yeah, Moneyball's the one where it's very high for you, and I don't have it in my top 10.
Yeah, I think you're sleeping on Moneyball.
Yeah,
White Men Can't Jump, I think you sleep on.
I listed a couple of the already ones that are in my honorable mention.
Go. Honorable mentions. You can hit
Brady, I had Moneyball down. Raging Bull, really good one. Space Jam, I mentioned. Waterboy. League of Their Own. Yes, it's about girls' baseball, but that's a really good baseball movie. And again, really relevant for the times. And then here's one that I wanted to put in my top 10 that just didn't make it. Victory.
Oh.
Pele, Sylvester Stallone. They basically take a ragtag group of prisoner of war and they go against the German national team. Mm-hmm. Now, the German national team in 1940 was one of the best on the planet, so they probably wouldn't have done anything, but Pele and the bicycle kick, that was pretty cool.
So I'll just list off a bunch of honorable mentions. Like, you're probably thinking, where's this? Here's, like, this was close to being 10. Radio, Sandlot, Major League, $1 Million Baby, Raging Bull, Ford v Ferrari, sports movie.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
For Love the Game, Field of Dreams, 42. 42 was really close to being 10.
42 was good.
42 was maybe like 11. Southpaw, Draft Day, Dodgeball, Happy Gilmore, Talladega Nights, Cool Runnings, and The Natural.
I had Cool Runnings as well as
a bunch of like. There's so many. Like we could easily do a top 25.
There's a lot of great sports movies.
We could do a top 25 pretty easily.
Yeah.
But we couldn't because he would just talk about how great Rudy is the whole time.
Yeah, I love Rudy.
And I would work in Jimmy Butler somehow. So with that down, Dad, you want to close things off?
Yeah, thanks very much. Episode 6. Isaac will do all the fancy stuff so that way you can watch it and listen to it. We appreciate the support. Please follow us on Instagram and send us thoughts as to what you want us to talk about. And we're going to be using Instagram more over the next episodes just to get some more feedback and some back and forth from our followers. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.